Number 12. Crystal Ortiz. Crystal Ortiz was attending a New Year's party in her native Los Angeles when she decided to call an Uber. She rode with another passenger and this seemed to annoy the driver. Ortiz claimed she was chatting with her friend when the unidentified driver started yelling at her. He became confrontational and a heated argument led to him kicking both passengers out of his car. She managed to record the entire fight with her cell phone. When Ortiz refused to comply, she was violently attacked. The woman later claimed she was afraid to leave the car as she wasn't familiar with the neighborhood. Ortiz ended up with a broken jaw, requiring reconstructive surgery. The 29-year-old victim filed a lawsuit against both Uber and the driver after contacting the police about the incident. The driver, upon being interviewed by the police, accused Ortiz of battery. Number 11. Anna Keeley. 28-year-old Londoner Anna Keeley was going to meet her friends for brunch and decided to call an Uber to get there in time. However, due to the panic attacks from which she'd frequently suffer, she cancelled it at the last moment. Instead, she walked to the restaurant to calm her nerves. Keeley didn't think much of it, even though the car had been only a few minutes away. The following day, she noticed the driver had left a message. He insulted her repeatedly, enraged about her bringing him there only to cancel. Finally, the unidentified man threatened her not to do it again or he'd cut her neck. She became terrified since he now knew her home address and complained on Twitter. Keeley also sent the audio to the company and reported the threats to the police. Uber stated that they'd be working closely with the authorities to ensure its passengers' safety. Number 10. Unnamed driver. An unnamed Uber driver in San Diego was charged with resisting arrest and a DUI after committing several infractions. He ran through a red light and crashed against a parked party bus. The large vehicle suffered some damage to the rear. Fortunately, there were no passengers on board. When the police arrived, the unnamed man failed a sobriety test. The Uber driver also refused to collaborate with the officers. He had to be shot with a taser before the police could finally put him into handcuffs. Though Uber stated that the driver hadn't logged into their system, the authorities soon discovered the drunk driver was on his way to pick up a passenger. The company stated that they permanently banned him from accessing the platform after the incident. Number 9. Unnamed passenger. A young woman who requested her name not to be released claimed to have been kidnapped by an Uber driver. The company denied the accusation, referring to the incident as an inefficient route. Back in 2014, the woman had used the app to leave a party in Los Angeles. When she got into the car though, she wasn't taken home. Instead, the driver took her to an abandoned lot. Screenshots she'd taken during the incident proved she was taken 20 miles away from her home. The passenger tried again and again to give him directions, but he ignored her. He refused to answer any of her questions, which caused her to panic. When they reached a dark parking lot, she tried to get out, but the driver locked the doors. It was then that she began screaming, and that prompted the unnamed man to take her back home. The entire ride took over 2 hours. When she made a complaint with the company, they replied with an automated message and reimbursed the fare. In the incident's aftermath, she decided to hire a lawyer and contact the LAPD. Number 8. Ray Warren Ilar. In 2019, Portland resident Ray Warren Ilar was killed during a high-speed crash while taking an Uber back home. The 47-year-old man was the only fatal victim, and police determined he hadn't been wearing a seatbelt. The Uber driver wasn't to blame in this specific accident. The crash occurred when a robber, driving a stolen car, collided against a concrete median while going over 100 miles per hour. After losing control of the vehicle, he crashed against the Uber car head-on. The impact was powerful enough to send Ilar flying through the windshield. He died at the scene. The Uber driver was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The robber received medical attention but was expected to make a full recovery. Number 7. Devin Wade and Olivia Bebic. Devin Wade and Olivia Bebic were the passengers from hell, proving that not only drivers are to blame for Uber nightmare stories. The pair, both 21 years old, created an Uber account and requested a ride 10 minutes later. Cherno Cisse accepted the fare and arrived at the address soon after. It had all been a setup, and the passengers, Wade and Bebic, intended to rob Cisse. Something went wrong, prompting the robbers to stab the driver to death, leaving a deep cut on his throat and several other wounds on his body. They crashed his car into a tree before stealing his cell phone and wallet and leaving the scene. A resident of the Washington area heard the loud crash and rushed outside. He discovered Cisse in the still-running car hanging from the driver's seat, only kept in place by his security belt. Wade and Bebic were later arrested for shoplifting, and when their car was searched, officers discovered Cisse's possessions as well as a bloody knife. They were both charged with murder and their bail was set at $2 million. Number 6. Unnamed driver. While working in North Philadelphia, an Uber driver ran over a woman with his 2016 Honda. The woman had left a deli and attempted to cross the street. She didn't walk towards the crosswalk though, as two parked cars covered the driver's vision. He didn't notice the 40-year-old woman stepping into the street until it was too late. The man parked nearby and the police arrived soon after. The victim was rushed to the Hahnemann University Hospital with severe injuries. Though she received immediate medical treatment, she died from her injuries hours later. An investigation was launched to discover more details about the incident, while the driver and victim's names weren't released to the public. Number 5. Chantel Lynch. Chantel Lynch, a 68-year-old woman native to Windsor Locks, Connecticut, was crossing a busy intersection when she was run over by Mohammed Hassan. In 2016, Hassan was an Uber driver, taking a passenger to Bradley International Airport. He claimed not to have noticed Lynch until it was too late. According to witnesses, she was wearing brown clothes at the time of the accident, which might have made it hard for Hassan to see her in time. First responders arrived at the scene soon after the accident and performed CPR on the unconscious woman. She was taken to St. Francis Hospital, but she was pronounced dead soon after. Hassan cooperated with the police and was treated at the hospital to evaluate his condition. Number 4. Samantha Josephson. In 2019, South Carolina resident Samantha Josephson committed a fatal mistake after being separated from her roommates. They had been out in town, and when she lost her friends, Josephson decided to call an Uber to get back home. She got into the wrong car, a black Chevrolet Impala, believing it was the ride she had been waiting for. 14 hours later, her body was discovered by turkey hunters 90 miles away from Columbia. Police began their investigation and reviewed the surveillance footage, watching Josephson get into the stranger's car. The scrutiny quickly revealed the driver to be Nathaniel David Rowland. The 24-year-old man was charged with murder and kidnapping. Traces of Josephson's blood and the student's cell phone were discovered in Rowland's car. Investigators also found bleach and window cleaner in the trunk. They suspected Rowland might have attempted to clean any trace evidence of his crime. Number 3. Sabrina Ben El-Taif. Sabrina Ben El-Taif from London called an Uber in 2016 along with 3 friends during a night out. After they arrived at their destination though, the young woman realized she'd left her phone in the car. Ben El-Taif contacted the driver and met up with him to retrieve her property. He demanded money for the phone, which she refused to offer. When Ben El-Taif threatened to call the police, he drove off. As she had been leaning into the car, the victim was dragged down the road for a few feet. She was left unconscious on the curb and was soon discovered by first responders. She required stitches after the attack and woke up in the hospital. Ben El-Taif claims to have been left with severe chronic neck pain after the attack. Today's topic was requested by one of our most loyal fans, Tim Dyshirt. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 2. Junior Justin. In 2016, Lancaster Uber driver Junior Justin picked up 4 friends late at night. The ride went on smoothly until they arrived at their destination. When they stepped out of the car, the men seemingly closed the doors too hard, making Justin furiously scream at them. The passengers and driver got into a heated argument. It ended abruptly when Justin lifted his shirt and showed the 4 men the gun he was carrying. According to the passengers, he threatened them, warning them that he'd use his Ruger pistol for protection. He was charged with simple assault, and Uber removed him from the driving app. Number 1. Shanika Bowen. Shanika Bowen contacted the Yeadon Police Department in 2016, reporting an assault she'd suffered while riding an Uber. The Pennsylvania resident claimed to have gotten into an argument with the driver over the address she wanted to be dropped at. He got violent, refusing to take her any further. When she protested, arguing it was raining and dark outside, he attempted to physically drag her out of the car. According to Bowen, the driver stepped out of the car, opened the passenger door, and tried to yank her out. After filing a police report, she contacted Uber, and the company assured her they'd ban the driver from accessing their app. Thanks for watching. Would you rather have a psychopathic Uber driver or get locked in a coffin with tarantulas for 10 minutes? Let us know in the comments section below.